Good afternoon and welcome. This is the beginning of our Distinguished Service Award ceremony, and I turn this over to Justice Slough.
Thank you very much, Chief. So next we will present the Aranda Access to Justice Award, and that will go to Judge Carol Brosnahan. As I mentioned, this is a co-sponsored award by the California Judges Association, the California Lawyers Association, and the Judicial Council of California. It's awarded to a judicial officer who has demonstrated long-term commitment to improving access to our courts and who has significantly improved access to low and moderate income Californians. I will say before we move to your video tonight that I only wish that I would have known you when I was coming up, based on what I've learned of you. With that, if you would please play the video.
I was a courtroom clerk for Judge Brosnahan for 11 years, and she is a true believer in justice. And the defendants that came before her, when they were done with their cases, they felt the love and care and compassion coming from Judge Brosnahan.
As a people's judge, the one who respected everybody who came in her courtroom, who treated people as individuals and not just another blurred face coming down the line, she taught us a lot of lessons about how we could be better. I'm very grateful to Judge Brosnahan for her leadership in creating the mental health court. And where now the rest of California and across the country understand the role that mental health plays in the criminal justice system, Judge Brosnahan was a pioneer in understanding that.
Thank you, Carol, for serving your community tirelessly by presiding over the Behavioral Health Court of Alameda County for decades. Thank you also for being an advocate for those suffering mental health issues and for being a role model and mentor.
We couldn't imagine a more deserving recipient than Judge Brosnahan, as she fully embodies the spirit of the Aranda Award through her 40-plus years of service on the front lines and her dedication to the mental health field.
You have been my role model, Judge, since the first time I appeared in front of you in the Berkeley Municipal Court. There's always been a ladder between that tremendous intellect of yours and that big heart of yours. And I like to think in my new job here in Sacramento that we're trying to find judges that look and act and rule like Judge Carol Brosnahan. Thanks so much for your service, and a special thanks for tutoring a young DA who appeared in your courtroom, who was frightened, but you showed him the way.
Carol, you and I entered Harvard Law School in 1956. We were 2 of 9 women in a class of over 500. What were we doing there, occupying a seat that could be held by a man? The dean asked us. That dean could hardly imagine what women could do once the artificial barriers to our opportunities were removed. I join legions in applauding your service to California's judiciary. In Jewish tradition, Tikkun Olam refers to our obligation to repair tears in our communities. You have done just that with compassion and wisdom during 20 and more years on the bench. May you continue to thrive in pursuit of justice, equal and accessible to all.
here to introduce and present the Aranda Award are retired Judge Tam Nomoto Schumann, President of the California Judges Association and a Judicial Council member, as well as Mr. Emilio Varanini, President of the California Lawyers Association. Thank you.
Chief Justice, colleagues, families, and friends, we are honoring a very exceptional woman today. How much that honor is cannot be understood unless we understand the origin of that award. Ben Aranda was my friend. We were both appointed in 1979. There was very little diversity on the bench then. We were not especially warmly welcomed, but from day one, Ben was determined to create fair access to the courts and equal treatment to the poor and the less fortunate. He invented the term fair access to the courts because it did not exist. It was not popularly discussed back in the early 80s and late 70s. It was a different world. Ben would be very proud if he were here today. And I want to add that 1979 was a vintage year of great gubernatorial wisdom because Judge Brosnahan was also appointed in the same class as we were. I also want to just mention some of the wonderful things about your life that make you human. For example, you won a TV game show called Tic Tac Dough, D-O-U-G-H, and that funded your last year at Harvard Law School. Is that not right? Okay. And in addition, you also met a very important person in Harvard, which is your husband, Jim. So it is with great, great pride, and I know if Ben were standing here, he would say the same. I congratulate you, and I'm just humbled to call you a colleague. Congratulations.
Wow, after words like that, I don't know what else to say. Your career, Your Honor, has been truly amazing. Well, let me also thank the Chief Justice and the members of the Judicial Council. It is the pleasure of the California Lawyers Association to be here today to co-present this award to a truly worthy recipient. I happen to be fortunate to live in the same county as her, and now I know why, because we have people like her in Alameda County, and we're all very fortunate. The California Lawyers Association, in our mission statement, is devoted to access to justice. And what better way to realize access to justice than by collaborating with our partners here in this room today, the California Judges Association and the Judicial Council and the courts. And so the symbol of our collaboration, the symbol of our commitment to access to justice is this award, the Aranda Award. And it is our pleasure to give the Aranda Award to a truly worthy recipient who cares about the downtrodden, the folks who have mental health issues. Truly, you are a pioneer, and I look forward to hearing all about your experiences, Your Honor, as well as your recommendations for what we can do better. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the podium.
First, I have to thank Rosalina. We survived calendars for 11 years of 150 misdemeanors a day. And she knows me probably almost as well as my husband of 60 years. Best thing I ever did in terms of access of justice was to say yes to a woman by the name of Davida Cody, who came to the Berkeley court, this is more than 20 years ago, and said, there's no program to help the street person who is addicted or mentally ill, and I'd like to start one in Berkeley. And we said, yes. That was my biggest contribution to access of justice, because now that program, 20 years later, serves over 125 people a day, They have, I think we're now up to 8 sober living houses. They go into the jails, they go into San Quentin, and Jim and I have been involved in supporting the options program, but the people in the options program have made access to justice very important. As far as what I am doing now, I have to say that Hillary stole a lot of what I was going to say about collaborative courts, because what I am trying to do now is keep people out of the access of justice by keeping them out of jail. It's a wonderful thing to have judges and teams of people whose only goal is to keep people out of the criminal justice system and into their lives, and have it. Sometimes it's like Sisyphus. You push up the hill and it rolls back down on you. But you have one success, and it is just amazing what it does to everybody involved. But primarily, as Hillary said, it's the families. When you see families that have been torn apart by mental illness or by an addiction, and they come to you and they say, "You saved my child's life," or "You brought our family together." It's a wonderful feeling, and that is a way, is an access to a different kind of justice, and it's a very rewarding aspect of judging. And I really accept this on behalf of all the collaborative court judges and the judges who, even if they're not in a collaborative court, they care about the individual enough to see that although people may not be perfect, they have merit as human beings. And that's, to me, the most important aspect of judging and of understanding that justice is not just a word. And I am deeply honored, because I knew Ben Aranda, to receive this award. Thank you so much.
You are truly evidence of the power and the reach of a very small word, the word yes. And we are grateful that you said yes many years ago and that you are with us today. And as I said, I wish I would have known you and for a long, long time, and I look forward to meeting you during our reception. So thank you and congratulations to all of our awardees today and to their families. Thank you for sharing each of them with us, and for your friends and colleagues for sharing them with us. We thank the California Judges Association, the California Lawyers Association for your work and for your partnership with us in recognizing these worthy recipients today. Justice Perlis, Judge Chittick, Judge Brosnahan, thank you for your invaluable, hard work. It has truly made a difference throughout this state. Chief, this concludes our presentation of the Distinguished Service Award and the Aranda Awards today. Thank you.
And one last round of applause.